Welcome to the Advice Show, media with a common sense approach. So there was a father that caught a 18-year-old man in the act of molesting his son. Let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Bruised and beaten, you'd think whoever did this to that young man would be in trouble, but instead, that young man is the one in jail. A father beat up the 18-year-old when he found him sexually abusing his young son. Fox's Kelly Joyce reports.
This is what one father did to a man accused of sexually attacking his son. That Daytona father called 911 early this morning after the beating.
I just walked in and found a grown man molesting, and I got him in a bloody puddle for you right now, officer.
The 35-year-old father tells the 911 operator he just left for a little while, and when he came back, he says he thought he heard something in a back bedroom.
I looked away and I said, "What's going on?" And he stood up and his pants fell around his ankles. I knew what was going on, and I did whatever he had a right to, except I didn't kill him.
Police showed up to find 18-year-old Raymond Frolander unconscious on the floor. He went to the hospital, then was taken to the jail and faced a judge today. Police Chief Mike Chitwood says Frolander admitted to sexually battering the boy for the past 3 years.
You think to yourself, here's a young man whose innocence was taken away from him. You know, 8 to 11-year-olds should be outside riding their bike and playing sports and playing video games, not, cowering and being in fear.
Police say the father will not face any charges for the beating because he was protecting his son as a crime was being committed.
I think the father did what any father wanted to do.
The judge today gave Frolander no bond on the sexual battery charges, and we learned he just turned 18 last month. In Volusia County, Kelly Joyce, Fox 13 News.
Now, before I say anything, let's go ahead on and give them a round of applause to the dad for beating this guy to a bloody pulp. Now, the dad is better than me, because if I would have caught that sort of thing, he wouldn't be in court right now. He'd be in the court of the Lord getting judged, because I'm sorry, I couldn't see nothing like that, and this guy would just walk away like that. Because you know what? They had a case here in Texas like that, where they had a man was molesting a man's daughter, and the father killed him, and they did not charge the father at all. I mean, that's self-defense. You stopping a crime from happening to your own child. I mean, you have to be a sick, perverted bastard to do things like this to children. My thing is, they said it was going on for 3 years. That concerns me, because that child didn't feel comfortable enough telling anybody, not his father. They didn't notice any changes in this child at all. Because, when it comes to your kids, and their moods start changing, they start being strange, you always need to question that. If it's something out of their character, they're getting too secluded, they're getting too closed off, they're not being with the family anymore. I mean, you need to figure out what's going on. They're going through some phase. Something could be actually happening to them, because you can't really tell me that nobody noticed no signs of that boy changing around this dude. And my thing is, how can you sit up there and just do this mess for, the past 3 years and get away with it and threaten this child? And people who do that, my opinion, if you convicted, it's evidence of it, you need to go straight to the death penalty, period. That's how I feel about that. Why waste our time housing them? This is what I understand about the American justice system. You would give a pervert like that less time than you would give somebody with one piece of crack or some other illegal drug. You give a person more time. They didn't molest no child, didn't rape nobody, didn't do none of that. They just had a drug problem, and you're not trying to rehabilitate them. You just want to house them. I don't understand that. I would think a child molester would get 40 years, 50 years in prison. But no, they don't do that. These child molesters will get maybe 5 years, or worst case scenario, maybe a longer sentence, 10 or something like that, and they'll be right back out. And they have to register for a sex offender for the rest of their life. But it doesn't change the fact of what happened to, like, say, this man's child. I mean, that's good what happened to him. I mean, every knot on his face is an awesome thing for me to see. That's a good thing. Because, more and more people need to react that way when they catch people like this in the act. Don't be sitting up here letting them go. Me, I like to say, I wouldn't let him go. Sorry, this wouldn't happen with me. Call me whatever you want. But you sit up here and try to harm my child, I just have no limits of what I'm going to do to you. Because all these, females running around, or, he want to fool with boys, all these gay men that he could fool with, and he want to fool with a boy? Nah, I'm sorry. That just don't cut it for me. Hit me up in the comments, future commentaries, subscribe.